Welcome to 2022. As we all have our resolutions, a lot of us, that resolution is to lose weight. So in this episode, we're going to talk about is the market overweight, and we're going to dive into the details there. So my name is Brian Cannon, and welcome to Markets in 5. So before we get into poking the belly of the market, let's talk about the market. Essentially, we've got these trends we've been talking about, and we've got a little negative divergence that's going on. So I don't know if this touchdown in the last trend line was a result of that negative divergence or if we have more to work off. But we're watching that very closely. But what's important is the more times a trend line gets touched, the more importance is placed on that trend line. So when that trend line gets taken out or broken, it's very important. So we're creating a lot of importance with this lower trend line here. So we've got definitely some areas that we're watching, some support levels, and so if that trend gets breached, then we want to look at those various areas as potential buying opportunities. However, if they continue to get broken to the downside, then it would be very much a cover your basis and be very careful. So I wanted to share this chart with you. It's to me, it's interesting. It just shows you the importance of trend following. So in 2020, when the market, obviously had a lot of pressure down and finished the year very strongly, you can see here clearly the trend was in technology. You wanted to be in technology. If you were in technology, you outperformed. And if you had a diversified portfolio, including the S&P and value, you more than likely underperformed. And so however the tide has changed as we've gotten into 2021, it's been a consolidation of those gains, right? So it was very much of a back and forth market between growth and value and tech and staples and things like that. So as soon as you jumped on one trend, that trend ended and it went to another trend. And if you kind of jump back and forth, you got chopped up a little bit. So until we get a break either to the upside or to the downside, there's not a lot of sense on trying to play those trends. Because they're not very long-term in nature. Now, this final chart to me is interesting. I think it's important to note that when you look at the S&P 500 and consider its weighting, it's definitely overweight, right? So you've got the top 10 stocks within the S&P 500 make up 30% of the overall performance. So literally 10 stocks out of 500 make up nearly a third of the performance. So that's something to consider when you're investing in the index, or you're looking at that as kind of being your benchmark. So in peeling that back a little bit this year, we discovered that it makes a lot of sense to, when looking at the various market conditions, what are those top 10 stocks doing? And so if they're all trending up and poised to outperform, well, then we want to be in the S&P 500. In fact, we want to go ahead and add some of those top 10 stocks to our individual stock selections so that we can help ensure that we're outperforming the index. However, when those stocks start to roll over, it makes a lot of sense to peel back the positions of those top 10 positions, and then also to peel back our overweightedness on the S&P 500 and go more toward an equal weight, which shares the performance with the other 80% of the stocks within the index. And so when doing that, we drew some interesting conclusions, and just following a simple MACD signal up and down. When the relative strength is weighted toward the equal weight, and we put our money there, there's definitely some alpha that can be had by doing this repeatedly over time. And so it's something that I think is important. But if it just makes sense, it's logical. If you pull up the hood and you see that your engine, if you can tighten a screw or twist a bolt and improve efficiency or improve your outcome or save gas, make it more efficient, then why wouldn't you do it? So this was just an observation that we came up with this year, and it's something that we started to implement within our portfolios. So in wrapping up, you can see that the market is definitely overweight. So Unlike your and my resolution to lose weight, I don't think the S&P has a resolution to lose weight, nor do I think it's going to happen. So what we need to do is just be smarter in how we play it. So if you have any questions, give me a shout, and I look forward to seeing you on the next Markets in 5.